Yes, dear children, let us continue with the class. Where were we, man? Page 255, right? Democracy and equality. In the other class, we have discussed the other forms of government like a monarchy, dictator, republican, which is called democratic form of government. Now, let us see the different types of democracy that we have. Page number 255. Please follow the text. We have read that all the male citizens in Athens were members of the assembly, a body that took all the important decisions. India is a democracy, but do you think all the citizens of India directly take part in all the decisions of the government? Why? Let us try to understand. In modern times, there are two kinds of democracy, that's direct and indirect. What is direct democracy? It's a form of democracy where the citizens directly participate in the affairs of the government. Today, direct democracy exists only in small countries such as Switzerland. A more popular form of democracy is indirect democracy, or you can say representative democracy, where people choose their representatives through elections to form the government. Elections are held after regular intervals so that people can choose their own representative. All the citizens of a country, without any discrimination, are allowed to take part in the elections. Thus, all people have equal rights in choosing the government. Equality plays a very important role in the successful working of a democracy. All right. So basically, you know what is democracy, right? But there are two types of democracy. That's direct and indirect. Now, direct democracy is something which is not feasible. Yes, if you talk about, say, for example, a panchayat election, a small village, right, where all the members of the village can come together in one place. Such cases, at times, it is nowadays even villages they have got the population of villages are increasing day by day. Even nowadays, it is not feasible, not possible there as well. But smaller villages, smaller places, it is possible. Like as the book says, the only country where direct democracy exists right now is Switzerland, as because it's a small country. People can directly participate, they can directly take part, share their opinion. Now, imagine a country like ours, India, 130 crore people. If 130 crore people had to assemble together somewhere and decide or come for a, take a particular decision, where will they sit together, man? 130 crore people. You see the size of a country and the second largest populated country in the world, right? So therefore, indirect democracy takes place. Indirect democracy also means that representative democracy means what happens, we elect our local leaders, like the what do you call representative, this so-called MLA MPs and all. We elect them, the MLAs. This is how the step goes: MPs, and then they go and decide in this Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Basically, even though they go and decide or they take part in the decision making, but they are representing us. Why? Because they are elected by us. So when we elect them, definitely our thought process, our opinion, our thinking, and theirs, or our policies, the policies which we prefer and the policies which they offer, there is a match. That is why we elected them, we chose them. So as a result, when they go and decide in the parliament, or when they take part in a decision making, they are representing us, our choices, our opinion, our decision. So that's called indirect democracy. Is called, what do you call, representative democracy. Now in indirect democracy, what happens is that, how does people take part? People take part through elections, and elections, it is held after a regular interval. Like differ from one country to another. Some country elections are held after a period of 5 years. In some country, it takes place after a regular interval of 6 years. Likewise, but there's a particular regular interval so that people can choose their own representative. All right, and during elections, all the citizens of that particular country, without any discrimination, are allowed to take part in the election, and thus you can say equal rights. Everybody gets the equal rights in choosing the government. Now, equality is something which plays a very important role when it comes to democracy, or you can say the successful working of democracy. Now, let us see something more about equality. Page 255, right hand side, democracy and equality. Daughter of an auto rickshaw driver in Mumbai tops the chartered accountancy examinations. Daughter of a very poor farmer becomes the first doctor of her village. A poor newspaper vendor gets admission into a very famous management institute in Kolkata. Girls score more than boys in CBSE All India examinations. A talented cricketer from the tribal community has been selected to play for Team India. So, this reports that we just read, one, two, three, four, five, those five reports, what does this reports show? Such reports show that in a democracy like India, every person has an equal opportunity to lead his or her own life and follow his or her own ambitions. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, sex, or gender. Underline that. That is the main, feature of democracy. You can say that there is no discrimination. Underline, please underline. Let me also do. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, sex, or gender. Any boy or girl from any part of the country can become a doctor or an engineer if she has the right talent. If she has the right talent, that is something out of democracy, which I emphasize more on it. On talent also matters a lot. If she will face no discrimination due to his her caste, sex, or economic background. Similarly, any person, if she has enough talent, can represent India in a particular sport or music or dance. There will be no discrimination on the basis of her social background. During elections, all the citizens of India are allowed to vote without any restrictions on the basis of caste, creed, religion, or gender. Thus, we can say that equality is an important aspect of democracy. Now, why equality is so important? It is because, if there is equality, or in other term, if I say if there is no discrimination based on anything, okay, on the basis of anything, that is when the actual talent comes out. That is when, any person can achieve anything if there is no discrimination on the basis of, irrespective of anything, whatever it is. All right. In simple language, if I say, one who deserves, the deserving will definitely get what he or she deserves, provided if there is no discrimination. That's what this entire paragraph is talking about. Like they have given certain examples. Example in the field of economy background, examples for this, what do you call, talent, music, dance, example for, what is this, elections. So these are all different examples. Now, anybody can be a good dancer. Anybody can, no matter if somebody is born in a poor family, does not mean that he or she must be poor or will be poor throughout his or her lifespan. If she wants, they can definitely achieve, or they can definitely change their economic status, right? Provided there is no discrimination. Same way, you look about talent, people say that she is talented, he is very good in this, she is very good in that. Anybody can be good in anything, provided there is no discrimination, and you must also have the willingness to learn. That is also important. Same thing goes with the elections as well. During elections, what happens? All the citizens of our country are allowed to vote without any restrictions. There is no restriction, no matter from which caste you belong, which religion, what's your gender, no. So that is how equality plays an important role. Now, there is something called political equality, religious equality, economic equality, social equality. All right. So different types of equality we have. Let us start political equality. In a democracy, all the adult citizens of a country have the right to vote. This is called universal adult franchise. Underline that. What do you mean by universal adult franchise? Universal adult franchise means all the adult citizen, okay? Not that all the citizen, all the adult citizen. All the adult citizen of a country have the right to vote. That's called universal adult franchise. Now, this is an example of political equality. In India, every citizen has the right to cast their vote during elections. Moreover, everyone is treated equally by the law of the land. Simple as that. Political equality means, if I define in a simple manner, that every citizen of that particular country, every adult citizen of that particular country, okay, has got the right to vote. That's called political equality. Clear? Simple as that. And one more thing, when it comes to political equality, first of all, every citizen has got the right to vote, every adult citizen. Secondly, everyone must be treated equally by the law of that particular land. Alright, that's called political equality. Next comes to religious equality. Hey, what is happening to this page? Yes, religious equality. Religious equality means that people belonging to all religions are treated equally. The government cannot discriminate against anyone on the basis of religion. Every religion has equal importance, and festivals of all religions are celebrated with equal respect. That's called religious equality. That no discrimination on the basis of religion, that somebody belongs from this particular religion, another person belongs from that religion. This must not be the one. The government cannot discriminate, when it comes to this, what do you call, religion, okay? On the basis of religion, government cannot discriminate. There can be no differentiation. That's called religious equality. Another point is that, 3 points. Another point, every religion must be given equal importance. Not that this religion is superior or this religion is above that religion. No, all religions must be treated equally. All festivals must be celebrated with equal respect, whatever festival it is. That's called religious equality. Next, we have economic equality. Let us discuss that as well. Economic equality simply means providing equal opportunity for everyone to earn their livelihood. Okay? There can be no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, or religion, which means that the workers will not be exploited by their employers, or the farmers will not be exploited by their landlords. What do you mean by exploited? In simple term, if I explain you, exploited or exploitation is basically means, making use of someone for your own personal benefit, for your own personal interest, being selfish, exploiting. Or you can say in simple term, taking advantage, exploiting. So economic equality means wherever a person is working, the boss of that particular company, which is called employer, okay, or the organization, be it a farmer, even the landlord, nobody must be able to exploit you. That's called economic equality. And it also means that equal pay. That's very important. Equal pay for equal work. Earlier, it used to happen many a times, not only in our country, everywhere, especially men and women. Okay, they were not treated equally when it comes to this, what do you call, economy. Why? Because men and women, no matter even they did the same work, the same amount of work, but women were paid less as compared to men, just because on the basis of gender, which is wrong. That is called inequality. But here we're talking about economic equality. Means equal work. If it is same work, then same pay. Everybody should get the same amount of money for the work they do, irrespective of his or her caste, gender, or religion, the one which I've explained you. Alright, we'll end up the class here today up till economic equality. The remaining we shall discuss in the next class. Please go through the text, alright? See you in the next class. Study well at home.